What's up, guys? Chris from Eagle Ridge. Let's get in some shop time today. It's going to be a good day. So I'm going to do a little recycling project that was actually my wife's idea. So we got a refrigerator to scrap. It wasn't any good and we didn't need it. And my local scrapyard dictates that you have to take the doors off because, 1950s kids keep dying in Frigidaires. So I've saved the doors because Lauren had a fantastic idea with these trays. This one in particular has a gap in it where they're separated. I'm not going to pull it off and put it all back on and all that, but so there's a gap right here that would let water through. Okay. She said, "Why don't you just turn it into a planter?" So that's what we're going to do today. Um, the first thing is taking the handle off. So you need a screwdriver, or this is just an old beat up knife. Come in. That's literally all that one takes. Same with the bottom. There's two screws, and I'm going to keep this handle. We do have the other, it was a side-by-side. We have the smaller door that came with it. I'm going to keep this handle for the door on my shop. I'm going to keep the other handle for the door on Lauren's shop. So let's take that off real quick. So now we've got it where it will sit flush, which means it will sit flat. I've got a couple of boards down there just to hold it up when I get ready to install it. But before I go to install it, I want to pre-drill a couple of holes just up top to hold it, and then we can go through and drill it out and put the screws in. So you have a couple choices. You can go straight through here, like there's a series of holes. You can go through there. Personally, I like to just pre-drill right next to the magnet strip and have a couple screws ready to go, set it up, hold it against the shop, pop, pop, done. So let's drill the hole. And tack it to the shop. What I've done too is I've left a little bit of it's not perfectly level, it's slightly tilted. So water will run to one side and down through. Now, I'll go back and drill and install screws in this. But what's great about these, like I said, this one where it comes apart has a seam in it, which will let water go through. That's twofold. One, it's not going to hold moisture. Two, as you water the top tray, it'll water the bottom tray, and the next one, and the next one, so on. And this one is just like a lovely little greenhouse up here where you can propagate, your seedlings, things like that. And the trays are big enough, you can put in one of these seed starter trays. Or, for me, what I'm probably going to do, I'm going to take some landscape fabric that I've doubled up. I'm going to lay it over that gap and then fill this with soil so I can directly plant my herbs. Now, you have an herb planter. It doesn't take up any space. It didn't take any money. All it took was a little bit of time and ingenuity. So there you go. It's a recycled herb planter. You could probably do like a hanging planter off of this. No root vegetables because it's not deep enough. But otherwise, there you go, guys. And the reason I chose here too is this faces south. So it gets morning and evening sun. So this will be in full all day sun. So, all right, guys. I've got a window. I got a shed that needs a window. Let's see if we can make it a good day. Alright guys, so I've got some windows here where I did a, won't call it a remodel job, but I worked on a house recently that we deleted some of the windows as they were putting vinyl siding on the house. And so I kept some of them with the owner's permission that we took out. And I've already measured for it. And what I did too was I left a 3/4 inch gap at the top. And I'm going to use some 3/4 inch ply over the actual window to where I can build a small shed roof that'll come out and cover that to where water won't come in. So first thing we got to do is cut the plastic. Goodbye, plastic. It's honestly just a loose, rough cut because as the siding goes on, that'll take care of it. Save it though. Alright, now just kind of do a loose fit on the window. It actually goes the other way. Alright, so as you can see, I got my gap here. So I have certain tolerances. So what I'm going to do is put a couple of hinges on here so that I can swing it open. And then later on we'll go back and put a hasp and a hoop where I can actually just put a padlock on it so people can't just open the window. I want to show you real quick a storage solution that I have that I didn't even think to tell you guys about. So yeah, I'm way down here because you need to be able to see up there. So we all got these leftover pickle jars, salsa jars. The one I'm using today is actually an old spaghetti jar, spaghetti sauce. So something my grandfather taught me years ago, and you see I've got almost 3 feet of headroom in here. So you take the lid from this jar. I gotta remember that the camera's way up there. Take the lid and take any old nail and pop 2 holes in it. Okay. Then we're going to take just a couple of little 1-inch screws and one there, one there. You can do it with 1 screw, but then it just spins. So always used to. And now you got an effective place. I'm not going to hit my head on it. So that's good. And you can do it under the bench. You can do it under the shelf. Pretty much anywhere. I mean, if you wanted to, you could do it, you know, on the rafters. For me, that wouldn't work because it'd have to be way up here, which I guess is still perfectly fine. You know, the next video, you might see just jars lining that. But especially since my bench is only about 1 foot deep and 3 feet long, that saves a lot of space on the bench, and it recycles. That's way back there. That recycles that jar, and I can easily see, especially these clear glass, I can see that that's a 2-inch screw. All right. And yes, I do have that a little tight, a little snug, but there's 2 reasons for that. Number one, the window frame itself is wet, so it's actually expanded. Because as wood absorbs water, it expands. So right now it's a little bit tight, but especially during the summer when it's really dry, this window will be absolutely fine. And with the shed roof that's going to go over it, it'll be absolutely fine. So all right guys, there it is. And if it ever stops raining, I'll get some footage of building the shed roof and everything over it. So the shop's got a window. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and use the sawmill slabs as the siding. And it presents its own challenges because they're varying thicknesses, or thickness and width and length, and obviously they have some anomalies and things like that. But let's see what we can do. Okay. So on the first couple of rounds, I am going to go with a standard issue exterior gray plywood, and that's purely because I want continuity at the very first row. So we're going to do that, and then we'll move from there. Hi, little lizard. You're impeding my work, little buddy. Thank you. Okay. Course number 2. Lizard. This little lizard, guys, is driving me nuts. Go on about your life, little buddy. It's not in me to harm one, so I'm actually going to flip this one around. Just because it's a saw doesn't mean you can't still practice your trigger discipline. And I'm not terribly worried about a perfectly straight cut. Number one, trim boards are going to cover it up, and I know that sounds lazy and bad workmanship, but for what this is, I'm not that concerned. Yeah, I got my NASCAR glasses. I'm not that concerned about it. This is rough cut stuff, so a rough cut on the end to me is not an issue. My only issue is I'm afraid the sap and things are going to gum this up pretty bad. So I'm going to do this first one, and if it's not looking good for the saw, we have to get the handsaw out. I really don't want to get the handsaw. Alright. I'm going to do a few extra nails on this one too, because the crown of this wood is out, so I don't want it to cup away from the building. Alright guys, so about halfway through that my phone died, but instead of wasting the day away, I went ahead and got it wrapped up there. So that'll give you a basic idea of what it looks like. And the roof will come and cover this gap from that top plate, and obviously I still have to find which pieces I'm going to cover the ply with, but there you go. That's how it comes out. So I guess with that, I'm going to move around. Oh yeah, I built a door yesterday too, and I didn't get to show you guys that because it was raining, and while I don't mind working in the rain, my phone does. So I made a nice little Dutch door, and I had a window. Sorry for all the shaky. I didn't grab my tripod. So I had a broken window that's over here. I had another one just like that, that one pane was still good in. So I went ahead and ripped it from its regular size. And, you know, I got to go back and trim that out. But yeah, still for free, and still using, I had the hinges on hand in my toolbox. And of course, there's a video on the planter there. So there you go. All right, I guess I'm going to move around and start in on this side.